Okay, well, looks like Dr. Jeanson did what I did, only his results are not the same. His results are different than mine. So apparently he went to Jockton and he got the seven descendants or something from Jockton and lined it up to Shem. So the seven descendants of Japheth somehow he got from Jockton. And so let me see if I can find something here. Somehow, hold on a second. Okay, I'll just go to this one. I know I'm not sharing yet, but I just wanted to get the pictures and kind of, because I was late trying to get connected, and it turned out that it didn't work so well. Oh, this is the continents. I gotta go back. Let's see if I can find something here. It's probably the wrong one. Again. Sorry about it. Let me see if I can find something here. I want to find the genealogy. Probably just look for it. I'll just go ahead and share and look for it if I can't find it real quick here. So that's probably what I'll do. Let me just go ahead and share first. Okay, share screens. Okay, so sharing. Go over this one here. It's more interesting. Okay, so now let me just go ahead and look up the Noah's genealogy here. Go over here. See if I can find something here, a chart of some kind. See what's the best chart here. Genealogy of the, oh, we got lots of them. But I don't know where the simple one was. Where's the family tree? Oh, this genealogy tree. I put tree here. Anyways, hold on a second. I gotta fix something here. Let's go here. Well, let me see if this is it. Anyways, he went to Shem. He went to Joktan. This is probably not here. Let's go back because this is no good. Anyways, he went to Joktan. He's got Instead of going to Japheth, sons of Japheth, he's got Joktan as the sons of Japheth. Somehow, I'm trying to figure this out. Let me just go here. For example, this one here. Oh, come on. Noah. That's the wrong one. Oh, no wonder. But I'll get there. I'll find it. Okay, this is simple. It's simple, but it's not working. Show notifications. What? Anyways, so we have. I've already been through all the ones. So the problem is that, of course, Ham has 4 sons, Japheth has 7 sons, and Shem has 5 sons. But he went in order to match it up to Japheth's line. He went to Joktan here. I don't know. We should probably back showing. He went to Joktan, where he has all these sons here, and he has Peleg, Eber, Peleg, of course, Abraham, and then Joktan to get all the rest of the Japhethites in somehow. But we probably can't do that, I don't think. Anyway, let me just go back over here to this one here and see. But that's how he matched them up with all the sons of Japheth. That's Dr. Jeanson, or Jeanson. So there's a problem with that because it really can't work like that. I don't believe. Because for one thing, you have I mean, they're all the Eurasians. He has all the Eurasians as Semitic. So he has the R1A, which is Ashkenaz, the son of Japheth, as Semitic. R1B as Semitic. He has all those as Semitic. And the O, he's got a Semitic, the O, which is totally wrong. He wrote a book about it. Just came out with a book, and it's all wrong. Well, anyway, I can't find anything here that works. My computer's slow. It's going to storm. I had this set up for like 6 o'clock, but it's going to be storming worse than what it is right now. It's pretty clear right now. And I can't seem to find anything. Wow, why is this computer so slow? Anyway, so he's got, I don't know, I guess Ham is Ham still. But he switched these. I don't know how he lines all these up. because it's FGHIK is one group. There's 3 different groups, and he's got the I through K or through T, or the K, the K through T. He's got all these as japethites. Of course, the only one is Madai. So he's got the japethite as an American Indian, Madai as an American Indian. He's got the R1B. I think he's an R1B, and as a Semitic. I don't know which line he thinks it is, but of course the N is Meshach, and the O's. All of Asia. So all of Asia is Semitic. I mean, all of Asia. And then plus, I don't know what he thinks about the C3, the C3, the C4, and the C2. They're descendants of Nimrod in Asia. But it was Madai that asked to marry the daughter of Shem. And in America, you have the Q, which is Madai, and the Semitic A, mitochondrial DNA in America, which is consistent. And you have other Semitic lines going to Asia too, but they're mitochondrial Semitic lines, not paternal lines. So he's got all the japethites as Semitic, which is really interesting. He thinks J1, J2 is Turkish or something like that. And I guess he doesn't think that the J2 is Jewish, because if you look at the Judaic Y chromosomes, which we could do if I could find it, the J2 Y chromosome is the largest Y chromosome in the Judaic populations to this day. So, and plus J1 is Arabic anyway, so it's like, I don't know how I can figure that out. So if J1 is Abrahamic, J2 is Abrahamic, right? And all the Arabic-speaking peoples are J1, but he thinks they're Turkish or something. I don't know what he thinks. And I don't know what he thinks of the M, L, and T, but he's got all the sons of Japheth to cover all these japethites. I mean, the sons of Joktan to cover the sons of Japheth. And I mean, even the secularists know that these are Semitic. I mean, the F through J, which is, well, they have the F through T, but it's the F, G, H, I, and J, K. So it's the F through K is what they call it. F through K. I don't know if you can see that very well. But the F through K, which doesn't include the K, includes the F, G, H, I, and J, excluding the K, is Semitic. So all these are Semitic. This K element, O, P, Q, R, S, and T, which is the K through T, would be Japhethite. It's all Eurasian. I mean, we know it's Eurasian. We know Ashkenaz, the son of Japheth. Somehow maybe he thinks Ashkenaz is Jewish. I don't know. But Ashkenaz is the son of Japheth. Anyway, let me see if I can find some more pictures here, better pictures. We got the creation table of nations. We got table of nations. See if I can find something here. Table of nations. This is the map we need to look at, I guess. So it even says right here, J1, Middle Eastern Semitic. And if you look at the areas with the less Denisovan DNA, is people that are not Eurasian and not Hamitic, which is this spot going all the way up into here. If we remember that map, it's all cold for Denisovan DNA. So it's cold for Denisovan DNA where the Semitic population is. Even into Europe, it's colder because there's considerable amount of I2 in Europe, England, the British Isles, UK, whatever. And if, the Elamites, Dravidian, I guess he thinks it's L. Maybe that's what threw him off. But L is Japhethite. H is Semitic, Dravidian. So the Elamites are Dravidian, they're H. And the L, of course, is from Greece. L is the Thracians from Greece that Alexander the Great came to India to ride elephants, and he brought the T and the L. I guess I got to zoom in here. He brought the L and the T to India because Alexander the Great wanted to ride elephants, so that's why he brought the Greeks into India. But they're Greeks. They're Thracians. L is a Thracian, son of Tiraz. Tiraz is the Thracian. So right here, Tiraz, the Thracians are from this area here, descended from Tiraz. That's why they're Thracians, and they're Greek, and they're Japhethite. Tiraz is the son of Japheth. Javan, the Greek sea people, T is the son of Japheth. So when Alexander the Great went to India, he brought with him the T and the L, which are Greek. So this Elamo-Dravidian probably has a mixture of L, but that's not Semitic. This is Semitic. H is Semitic. Okay, and of course J2 is Semitic. I guess the controversy is the J2 is all through Turkey, it's all through Italy, but we know they all went north because the same way Israel was kicked out into the north and they migrated that way, the Judaics, which are J2, they were kicked north just the same. So they populated all these areas. And it's the Judaics that went up the Rhine River, and it's the Judaics that went down the Silk Road. So that's why you find the J2 going down the Silk Road all the way to China, because it was the Judaic traders, the same as they went up the Rhine River and called themselves Ashkenaz because they were in the area of Ashkenaz, which is R1A. And of course, Madai was in this area too. See the Q of Madai? Madai was in Europe in this area as well. That's why you have the Q. K was in Italy. Tubal was in Italy. K is in Italy. The I2 in Sardinia, and the Danube, I2, that's the tribe of Dan, which is Semitic. They call it Slavic, but it's Semitic. Because there's also a lot of J2, as we know, in the Ukraine right now. The Ukraine and all through this area, there's J2 as well. This J2 goes up all the way over into the Ukraine too as well. And of course, this is the original area of Madai, and it's called Turkmen. They're called Turkmens. here. Of course, C is Hamitic. C would be Nimrod from the land of Shinar. And the first people that went into Europe is the GY chromosome, which is Semitic, would be the Syrians. The Syrians were the first people, at least according to some, first people that went into Syria. So when the Assyrians conquered everything, they conquered these places too, which had these people, these tribal people, these nations, whatever you call these nations, what they call the nations, they had them there too. But today you don't see very many C, but the G is still there. The G is still in Europe, but not heavily, not as heavily as the Japhethites that are there, the Eurasians. Anyways, and it seems, so when the G went there, the G took the Semitic mitochondrial DNA there, and then these people came in, the Japhethites came in, and 95% of Europe today is mitochondrially Semitic. So it's hard to say, but let me show this down here, because I'm going over this right now because Dr. Jeanson just published a book, and it's all wrong. Hate to say it, but it's all wrong. So we have, this is how they separate them up. These are the three nodes. They call it AF, but it's not really AF because you have F again over here. So it's A, B, C, D, and E is one group. You have F, G, H, I, and J, and it's not the K because the K is over here. Then you have the K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, and T, which is the largest group right here. So it's clearly the largest group. This is A, B, C, D, E. I mean, which not necessarily mean anything, but it does mean a lot here because there's there's 7 sons of Japheth you have to account for. 7 sons of Japheth have to fit in here. So K is Tubal, L, as we said, is Tiraz, T is Javan, N is Meshech, O is Magog, M and the S are connected to K. They're the same thing as K. And then there's the P. The P is supposed to be the progenitor of the Q and R. But the Q is Madai, clearly Madai, because they get confused because they're both Eurasians. And Madai is in Europe, and what's his name? Japheth. Gomer is in Europe. Gomer is the R. He's in Europe, together with Bandai in Europe. So they put these together because they're both Japhethites. They put these together because they're both Japhethites, but they're actually separate. And they put these together even though one's an L, the other one's a T, which makes no sense at all. Because it's K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, and T is at the end. But the T is Javan, and the L is Tiraz, and they're both Greek. They're both in the area of Greece, which the T is the C Greek people, and the L is the Thracian Greek people. But it's very clear. So they jumble these up together, and they have this as the progenitor of these two, but that's actually Madai and Gomer, Meshech and Magog, Tiraz and Javan, and Tubal, which the M and the S is in the area of the K, and they're the most related. They have the most DNA of Denisovans because the M and the S even though they're Japhethite, they have a lot of autosomally Hamitic um, autosomal DNA. So they come out very strong for Denisovan, which is way up in China, anyways. But of course, back in the day, the Denisovans would have been influenced by the C of Nimrod, which is Hamitic as well. So these M&ES, they're Eurasian Japhethite, but then they also have autosomal Hamitic DNA. So they just say is Denisovan. But now, of course, they're changing their minds now as to labeling different people with different names, because they're realizing, oh, these are all just humans and they're all related. So they're not putting names like Denisovan or Neanderthal on them anymore, because the Neanderthal are across all of Eurasia, because they're Eurasian. Anyway, and the Denisovans are a mix of Eurasian and Hamitic DNA, because it was found up all the way in Mongolia. Actually, Mongolia, I say China, but it's actually Mongolia, the Denisovan DNAs. I don't know. Let's see if I can find another map here. Okay, here's the map right here, what I'm talking about. If it'll ever load. Okay, there we go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Remember, we got this is Denisova allele frequency, right? See, this is what I'm talking about, which is going to disprove Dr. Jeanson. Denisovan allele frequency here. So the hot would be for Denisovan. But here's the Denisova cave right here, right? Way up here in Mongolia. Keeping in mind, Mongolia is the area of both Eurasian and Nimrod, which is Hamitic. So this Denisova girl was probably Hamitic, and so that when it comes to Denisovan DNA, the hotspot is the people that have the most Hamitic DNA and Eurasian DNA, which would be the M&ES, which is Eurasian, plus of course, if you know anything about Papua New Guinea, they are very Hamitic, right? So that comes out hot right there. And the K is in this area as well. The K is in Australia, in this part of Australia, and in these parts of Asia as well. You have the K all through here. And so that's why I believe the M and the S, which is the same island, they didn't just pop into existence right there in Papua New Guinea, but their lineages go so far back that they each have their own lineage, M and S. But I believe both of these came from the K, which was also separated a long time ago. So these are separated a long time back. But the interesting thing here is this cold spot. Now, this cold spot here, you can see this is cold for what? This is cold for Denisovan DNA. Remember again that in the Americas, you have both the C, which is Hamitic, and you have Q, which is Madai, which is Eurasian. So that's not really cold, but there's a cold spot there because of another reason, because of some American Indians are in fact descended from Israelites, but which is another story. But it's not by way of Madai, the Japhethite. nor is it by way of sea in the Waorani Indians of Nimrod. So these are just sample spots here, but they give you an idea of where the Denisovan DNA is hot. So it's hot here in Asia. Where is it cold? Where is it cold? It's cold up here, and it's cold here. Of course, there is no samples from here or here or here. But where there is samples, it's cold. And it's very cold here. Why? Because this is Semitic. Of course, Elam would have been in this area. It's Semitic. And of course, the Judaic population was all through here, and that's Semitic. So this area in the Middle East is more Semitic. This is more Eurasian. This is more Hamitic. So the Hamitic is not cold, and the Eurasian is not cold, but the Semitic area going all the way up through here, up to Scandinavia, this would be Denmark or somewhere, is cold for Denisovan DNA. So what's that mean? It means that the Semitic populations that don't have Eurasian and don't have Hamitic are separate from Denisovans who are Eurasian and Hamitic. So that's my observation there, and it's more consistent with what they were, what they had in mind. Because if you talk to the Jewish people, they would say that J2 is definitely Jewish or Judaic. If you want to be technical, it's Judaic. And this person in the Denisova cave, who's Eurasian and Hamitic, is not Semitic. And it's the same thing with the Neanderthals. Is the same thing, with the exception that Africa doesn't have Neanderthal DNA. But who does have Neanderthal DNA? To this day, who has Neanderthal DNA? All the Eurasians, all the way. So the Eurasians from Europe all the way to Asia, Eurasians have Neanderthal DNA. Now you're going to say Neanderthals are Semitic? Probably is what he's going to say. So he's going to say this is Semitic all the way down here. But it's not. It's clearly Hamitic. And this is clearly Eurasian, because Meshech went north. Meshech is all the way up here in Siberia, all the way from Denmark all the way here north. That's Meshech. O is all the way here in Asia. It's Magog. Remember, totally separate from the Bible. It's totally separate from the Middle East. Totally separate. And the Bible has no story of the Semitic people going to Asia. So I don't know why he thinks that the Semitic people are in Asia. With the exception, there is a story of people that took this route here, supposedly looking for the Garden of Eden, which is supposed to be in the Philippines, over here somewhere. And so they went all the way here. Some Israelites went all the way over here, but there's no Semitic Y chromosome, no Judaic Y chromosome or Israelite Y chromosome in this area, but there is the Semitic mitochondrial DNA from the Middle East, separate from the branch of Madai that went to the Americas, which is another evidence that Q, Madai, is Eurasian and not Semitic. Because why would Q be Semitic? That doesn't make sense. Q Q is all the way. Well, there is a Q in the population for another reason, but Madai went up all the way up into Europe. Madai went all the way east of where he was, all the way into America. So, but anyways, and of course the rest of Australia would be C and K with a paternal line, paternal haplogroups. C and K. K, I believe, is the M and the S, same thing. O is Eurasian Magog mixed with, of course, probably, well, a little bit of, well, there's D here too. D is Hamitic too, but that's, but it's pretty strong here for the South Asians. Actually, that's basically, Korea. That's all O. This is all area of the O. All the way down here in Korea and everything. Or is this Korea? This is a funny looking map. This map's not, I can't even hardly see the Philippines in here. A little bit twisted, but anyways, Madai asked to marry the daughter of Shem. And so what do we have in America? The Q for Madai and the A, which is the Asiatic Semitic Mitochondrial DNA from the wife of Madai, who asked to marry Shem's daughter. That's why there's a separate Asiatic Semitic line, separate from the Middle Eastern Semitic line, which also goes down this way to the Philippines in this area here, which would be the B, the F, and the P, mitochondrial maternal lines. I don't know why they have the same. It's so confusing with the maternal and the paternal lines. They got it so confusing that you don't know what you're talking about. And the A is Semitic, and the A paternal line is Hamitic. It's so confusing. I don't know why they messed it up so bad. But anyways, I just got everything backwards. But this cold spot here in the Middle East, which is known to be Semitic, all the way up here, is because of the Semitic autosomal DNA. So that's about that. Let's see what we got here. Because actually, we just run through here. How about that? Already got this. So yeah, so apparently what Dr. Jeanson did was says Japheth has 7 sons, 7. So he's got 7 lines. And Shem only has 5. So where did Dr. Jeanson get all 7 lines? Well, he got it from all down here, Peleg and Joktan. That's where he got his 7 lines from. But it's simple. It's simple. 7 lines of Japheth right here. 4 lines of Ham, which Mitzrayim put in Canaan are distinct trees. Each one of them. Cush is a little bit harder because it's all spread out. Kind of like Tubal. Tubal's all spread out. It's just all over the place. And but Elam, Asher, Arpachshad, Lud, and Aram is only 5, and there was more Eurasian lines than 5. So he went down here to get the 5. He went to Peleg and Joktan and these descendants to get the. So he thinks the Chinese. He thinks the Chinese are Semitic. He thinks Meshech, all the way up north in Russia, thinks that's Semitic. And he thinks the R's in Europe are Semitic. But anyways, I don't see that to be true, but just want to let people know, what's going on, because he just published a book on it. But I don't think it's near as detailed as what I'm showing here, because Ham is not a problem. Canaan, the Canaanite line is all in Saudi Arabia, Levant area, and the Turkey area of Turkey, which they call whatever they call that, Anatolia. That's Canaan. That's his line is all outside of Africa. Canaan's line, of course, it's an E. They're all E's, except for, I don't know about Kush, if it's all E's. They got it because Kush is probably A and B too, so it's A, B, and maybe some E's or something. I don't know what. But anyways, Mitzrayim is E. It's the M78, the M13, M12, M32. Canaan is the Z830 or something like that. But it's a distinct line, one family tree. Put the M81 is one family tree, which is not just M81. It's more than that. It's like P19 or something. I don't know. But Put is one family tree. Canaan's another family tree. Mitzrayim is one family tree. Cush, the family tree is all over. Sheba, Dedan, trying to figure out Havilah. Trying to figure out who's the D. One of these is D. I don't know if it's Sabta or Havilah. No, I don't know if it's Havilah. That place is gold. No, it wouldn't be. I don't know. Anyway, and Elam, Elam is clearly Semitic. Clearly Semitic. It's got to be H. Anyway, whatever. It's no big deal because I think we're going to be able to find out. We're going to be able to tell, what it is. Because, even here, see, Dr. Jeanson said that he's got something to overthrow the going theories, and that the J2 is somehow Turkish or something. But he doesn't think the J2 is Semitic. See, Joktan went this way, in this area. See this? And Gomer, son, is Ashkenaz, which is the R1A. R1A is Ashkenaz. R1B is Riphath, which is in southern Europe. Riphath went to southern Europe. Togarmah went this way. And they're the sons of Gomer, the Eurasians. Magog went north and then south. Went north around the Caspian Sea and went just south, because Magog is like the largest population. Meshech went straight north and remained north. There's a lot of other maps that show it. Asher is Syria, but it's G, that's Semitic. This is Semitic. Aram is Semitic. It's all in this area, right? And the thing is when they might move other places, like Madai might go other places, but there's going to be a queue in this area, and there's queue in this area. There's going to be descendants in this area because not everybody leaves. Not everybody leaves the area. So we got Aram, Asher, Elam, Lud over here, Lud, and see you have this as identified as Semitic. See, Shem is the yellow, Ham is the green right here, Japheth is the orange. See? So it's Dr. Jeanson that's going against the common knowledge. And remember what I said about Canaan? Canaan is all outside of Africa. You know, Heth is the Hittites. Hittites, and they're all in Saudi Arabia here, but it's all outside. But it's a separate family tree is from Canaan, right? Which probably is in the Jewish people too, which would be the E's. Probably the E of Einstein is probably Canaanite. Of Albert Einstein, the Jew. You know, they're clearly Jewish people. They're Jews, but they have a different Y chromosome, which really doesn't change their identity, but it's the paternal line that we're following. We're not following language or ethnicity or anything. We're just following the paternal lines. And we got Put has his own line, which is all North Africa, which later came to mean the people that control the Mediterranean, the Phoenicians. So the Phoenicians originally are from North Africa. The first Phoenicians were in North Africa, but then the Phoenicians came to mean people in this area, which was like a mixture of everybody. It was a mixture of T, Javan. It was a mixture of R1B in the Mediterranean. It was a mixture of some E, some B, and of course things like Q, which is Madai, and but this stuff would be easy to prove because if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure they had Qs over here in the Middle East from America, but stuff like that would be hard to find, you know, because Google and stuff, they kind of like stuff that information way back in the back. It's hard to find. But anyways, it's clear that these areas here are Semitic. And like I said, you know, they'll go elsewhere. The Semitic people will go elsewhere, but they're going to remain in this area as well. You know, it's like Tiraz and Javan went elsewhere, but they're also still here. K of Tubal in Italy went elsewhere, but he's still here in Italy. Madai in Europe, of course, went everywhere except he's also in Europe from known human history. So that's about it. So he's going against the the common knowledge, basically going against everything. But anyways, we'll see how it holds up. But he just wrote a book on it, and which is anyway, because he's an R1B or something, and Ken Ham is it like an R1A or R1B or something? And he told Ken Ham that he was Semitic, and that he's Semitic. So I don't know why everybody wants to be Semitic, because you have the Israelites here. They're saying they're Semitic. They're saying that they're making it out like they're the Jewish people, and you got other people saying they're the Jewish people, and the Jewish people are saying they're the Jewish people. So we're gonna find out what it is, because it's going to be determined without too much trouble, I don't think. But this is the mitochondrial L1, 2, and 3 exclusively in Africa. This is the Asiatic Mitochondrial DNA, which is Japhetic, the wife of Japheth, which is exclusively in Asia, pretty much. Maybe 1% in Europe. But of course, the C and the D is in America, which is Asiatic Mitochondrial DNA, which is to be expected. And the M is in Asia, and the G, I guess, is in Asia too, probably. It's probably in the Philippines or whatever. But then the Madai, who was Japhethite, was looking for a wife, because apparently there wasn't many descendants for Madai to marry from the line of Japheth. So he asked Shem to marry one of his daughters. Now these are the daughters of Shem. These are the daughters of Shem. And you have two different lines. You have an Asiatic line, which is, I believe, here. I'm not sure about these, but the A. And then you have the Middle Eastern Semitic line, which is the B, and all of these here. But anyways, Madai asked to marry one of the daughters of Shem, and he took with him the A into America. So there's A and B in America. This is Asiatic Semitic. This is Middle Eastern Semitic, because it went the other way around, crossing the Pacific all the way to America, I believe. Because there was some trade between the Pacific Islands, which is where this B comes from, and the Americas. But there's no Y chromosomes from the Pacific Islands in America. But there is the mitochondrial DNA from the Pacific Islands in America. So there is a connection there. And this B is probably one of the lines that was looking for the land of Havilah, or the land of gold, the land of the Garden of Eden, or whatever. So that could be that. And let me see, the F and the P. Yeah, the F and the U and the K. Yeah, these could be, some of these are ones that went from the Middle East to the Philippines. The P, there's a P, which is not here. The P, the F, and the B, and some other ones, which I got to check up on. They're in the Philippines and Asia, Southern Asia, the islands in Asia, which is Semitic, but it's from the Middle East. This one here, this line here, and probably these here are, which is interesting, because these are the Asiatic Semitic line. So the X is in America, X2 to be exact, is in America, and the X2 is in the Middle East too. So I believe they brought the X back from the copper mines back to the Middle East. That's why you have X2 in the Middle East and you have X2 in the copper mines in America, which would be copper, gold, and silver, and everything too. Wouldn't just be copper, but the copper mines are well known and huge. The ancient copper mines in America. But it's the X2 line is the same X2 mitochondrial DNA in the copper mines as what's in the Levant area. Okay, this is the paternal line, the Y chromosome lines, which was, of course, this is Hamitic. This is what Dr. Jeanson says is Semitic. But then you would have to say, well, Shem not only had lots of daughters, but he had lots of sons too, apparently. Look at all the sons he had. But that's why Dr. Jeanson goes all the way down to Joktan to get all these lines, which I believe is a mistake. But this is simple. This is not complicated. F is Aramean. F2 is Lydian. H is Elamite. G is Assyrian. Assyrians are the ones that went into Europe with the C, Nimrods. So the C and the G went into Europe. They're the ancient, whenever they talk about the ancient people in Europe, remember they said that they were darker? The first Europeans were darker. That's because they were Assyrian mixed with the descendants of Nimrod. That's why they were darker. The first Europeans, what they call the first Europeans, whether they were or not, you know. And then the other ones are the R1A, the R1B, which R1A is clearly Ashkenaz, the son of Gomer. R1B is clearly Riphath, the son of Gomer. R2 is Togarma. Q, as we've seen many times, is Madai. And they lump them together because they're confused, because the Q is so closely related to the R, and it is related because they're both Eurasian. They're both descendants of Japheth. So they lump them together because Q is in the same area as the R1A and R1B because their Q is in Europe. So they're confused about that. They just lump them together as one thing. Same way they lump the N and the O's, Meshech and Magog. They lump them together too because they're, you know, both Eurasian. They're both brothers, and they think there's the same line that separated a long time ago, which is the same line that separated a long time ago, but they separated all the way back at the beginning. And like I said, the K, M, and the S, I believe, is one line. But before I get sidetracked too much, this is Aram, this is Lud, this is Elam, this is Asher, this is descendants of Abraham, because it's both Arabic and Jewish. So it's both Arabic and Jewish and Elamite and whoever else. Any other Hebrews would be J, as well as the I, because the I2 is clearly Dan, because the I2 is like an ancient civilization in Sardinia, and they named the Danube. Their I2 is in the Danube, so that's still there to this day. There's lots of I2 in the Danube, and of course I2 is all the way up in Denmark and Scandinavia and elsewhere and everything. Anyways, and I don't know about the I1. I'm trying to think that I'm not I don't want to be the tribe of Dan, but I might have to be the tribe of Dan. But anyways, because the I1 is a separate line from the I2, but maybe they were the first line that went up into Scandinavia, first Danites that went up into Scandinavia, separate from the Sardinians and one's at the Danube or something, whatever. Anyway, it is what it is. What are you going to do? Because the tribe of Dan was the first one to go astray, of course, if you know the history. But in the days of King Solomon, they were all together. Israel and Judah were all together. That's why they're all represented in America, but that's another story. Okay, this is showing here, to this day, Tubal settled in Italy. To this day, there's 8% in central Italy, 8%, which is Tubal. Of course, everyone else would be from the outside. This would be Assyria. This is Israelite somehow. This is Arabic Israelite. This is Judaic. And this would be R1B is what, Riphath? Yeah. Descendants of Gomer. Plus the K2. The K would be descendants of Tubal. Okay, you see the Semitic area here, all the way up into Denmark. Denmark is cold for a Denisovite allele frequency, which is Japhethite. There's Denisovite cave right here. Oops. Denisovite caves here, which would be the area of the CY chromosome, because it's Mongolia, right? The CY chromosome and Eurasian, so that's why they have a lot of autosomal relationship with people who are autosomally and paternally Japhethite and Hamitic autosomally. Anyway, this is the supposed to be Denisovan and Neanderthal, but it's basically just Neanderthal. Well, I guess it's Denisovan too. It's showing the same thing here, pretty much. Remember, the other one was exclusively Denisovan. But the reason why I'm saying is because the other map showed the same thing, which is only Neanderthal, except for this, I think. So this is the Neanderthal and Denisovan. Okay, so it's a contrast between Denisovan and Neanderthal here. So, of course, Neanderthal is the Eurasians, of course, not African, not so much Middle Eastern or Semitic, but Eurasian. And of course, Madai is Eurasian. Neanderthal. Okay, the days of King Solomon. You have people going to America in the days of King Solomon before Israel and Judah got split up. You have the I1, the I2, J1, J2, the T, which is Javan, the G, which is Assyria, the E, which is either Canaanite or North African, the B, which would be North African or something, or maybe Ethiopian or something, I don't know. And, of course, the R1B in America, which they don't know how it got there, but it's there in America, in the indigenous populations, which would be basically that would all be the signature for Phoenician. If you wanted to know what the Phoenicians consisted of, you can see it right here. It's G, I1, I2, J1, J2, T, R1B, lots of T, which is Javan Sea people, Phoenician, and R1B, Mediterranean, R1A. So it's all this Mediterranean mixture in the American Indians, and they wonder why they come back Mediterranean when they do a DNA test. But that would be the signature for the Phoenicians, including the Q, but not so much, not that much Q, because that's what's already in America. And the C is conspicuously missing. C3 is conspicuously missing here because it would be a huge signature for C3 as well, which would not be Phoenician, but it would be descendants of Nimrod that went this way around through America, the Nadini or the Nadine Indians, and all the way down here to the Auca Indians, the Waoranis, the Wayus. They call them Auca Indians. They'll have the C3 Y chromosome from Nimrod. So they have C3 here, they have C3 here, and the Olmec statues here. Guess what? They look like Polynesians because they have the same ancestor father, Nimrod, because the Polynesians have a C2, Americans have C3, American Indians. Well, the original Olmecs would have been, of course, less mixed originally. That's why they come back. That's why they look so Polynesian. And that's why they have the big discussion. Are they Africans or no? They're not Africans. They don't look African. Well, they look Polynesian because they have the same ancestor father, Nimrod, plus the Asian mixture. Asian, what they call it, admixture or something. So that's why they look both Asian. Sometimes the Olmec statues look Asian. Sometimes the Olmec statues look more Hamitic or Polynesian, or I don't want to say Cushite because Nimrod's the descendant of Cush. Anyway, yeah. So you can see this concentration of haplogroups here, and they want to say that Africa is the most diverse people. Well, you can see how diverse it is here compared to this. As far as the different haplogroups lineages, they're not as diverse. And of course, all of this is from this area here anyway. And you can see here, not as diverse. This, of course, is the mitochondrial. Remember, you have the A, which is this purple. So remembering that Madai asked Shem to marry one of his daughters. So this A, all this A, that's the Somatic mitochondrial or Asiatic line mitochondrial DNA that married Madai because he asked Shem to marry his daughter in the Bible. Plus you have the B, which is the Eurasian line. So what do we have? This is the Q, W, the X, the Y. I think the R starts the R. So the R would start the Middle Eastern lines, and not the Q, but the N through Y, including the X, and there's would be the Asiatic line. The Asiatic Semitic line would be the N through Y. And then the ones that show up in the Philippines are the P, the B, and the F, and probably some more of these, like Not sure which ones. But the F, you can see the F here. The B, you can see the B here. This is Middle Eastern Semitic, keep in mind, Middle Eastern Semitic. It doesn't go up here, but does go across here. Maybe. But then you have the F, which is this dark pea green, is the F. So this F, that's Middle Eastern Semitic line. The P, which would be this funny looking color here, is Middle Eastern Semitic mitochondrial DNA. But it's kind of hard to see here. I have this one here just to show, well, for one, since we're talking about the problems that we're having, look at how much J2 and J1, descendants of Abraham's, are in Iran. Almost half the population. If you could include H, which is Semitic, if you include Elam and Assyria, it's more than half. Actually, Assyria, look, Assyria goes all the way up. This is Assyria too. Oh, this is Assyria? Oh, if you include an F, F2, F is Semitic. Wow. So from here to here, it's almost 2/3 of the Iranian population is Semitic. Half of it is Judaic or Arabic or some kind of Hebrews. Almost half of the Iranian population. Remember these, hate Israel stuff? The Ayatollahs or whatever, they hate Israel. Well, that's their population is Judaic, basically. And if this much is paternally Judaic, or of course, I guess they would claim the Arabic line from Abraham as well, but still, this J2M172 could be not just Judaic; it could be Davidic, all the descendants of King David and King Solomon. Okay, here's the X. See, it's showing here, but anyways, you can't see this. Can't see America. Here's the X2, X2A, in fact. Remember what I said about the mitochondrial X being both in America and the Middle East? And of course, the X is that's the Asiatic line, the Asiatic Mitochondrial Semitic line. So it's here, it's also here. And apparently it's throughout here too. So I guess maybe they took it from here. Maybe they took the X from the Middle Eastern Levant area, and they took it all the way to America. Maybe that's the way it went. But anyways, there it is in copper mines. X2A, mitochondrial DNA, X2A. Here's the Phoenician area, remember? Syro-Phoenician area, the Phoenicians, who were at peace with King Solomon in the days of King Solomon. And they controlled the sea routes all the way to America, all the way from the Mediterranean all the way to America. Okay, here shows the same thing again. There's the X here in the Levant area, Turkey, Europe, and the United States, all the way in the United States. the X. So there's a connection there that they can't figure out. But we know who it is. This is the Y haplogroups? Yeah. Notice the lack of diversity in Africa, and notice how much diversity there is here in the area of the cradle of civilization. Notice less diversity here, less diversity here, less diversity up here, less diversity down here, less diversity over here, lots of diversity in the cradle of civilization here, which would be basically Turkmenistan. That would be the area of Turkmenistan right there. That's the greatest diversity, which is where everybody conglomerated. And then, of course, you have the K, which is in this area. Remember I said it's in the area of Papua New Guinea and Australia. That's the K through Asia. Look where else you have the K. In Italy. Some of these areas have K, which is the darker green in Italy. Still there in Italy. Tubal. So Tubal was in Italy. Tubal is also here. Madai Q is this blue. Anyways, it might not show here, but Madai was in Europe. Madai is also here. There's a Q. It's this blue. See that light blue there? No. It would be not the light blue. Anyway, it's this purple color, whatever. It's not. It's only like 4%, so it's not showing up here. But it is there in the area where Madai was in Europe, and Madai is also in Americas here. Q. That's how we can trace it. See, K here, Q here, Q here. R1b here in the Mediterranean. R1b is here in America too. Which would be Ripeth. And the O, which is the largest population in the world, as far as haplogroups go, which includes Korea. What is this? Which one's Korea? Is this Korea? I don't even know where I'm at. You got Japan. I guess that's Korea up here. Philippines. All this areas would be Magog. Always Magog. Definitely Magog. Can't be. It's not Semitic. L came all the way from Greece. Alexander the Great brought it to India. T, all the way from Greece. Alexander brought it to India, and they had trade with the Horn of North Africa too, which is the T is the Greek sea people. The Greeks sea peoples, so they were the ones on the move. So they had like trade with North Africa, and they have populations here in North Africa. Philippines, you have the A. What is this, mitochondria? Yeah, I guess it's mitochondria. Is this mitochondria? Yeah, I guess it is. Or is it? I think it's mitochondria. Yeah. So you have the B. So all these brown colors are B. The F's, all the blue colors are F. No, yeah, F1 and this brown color too. This light brown. The light brown and the blue is F. And P. Where's P? P's not here. So there's got to be a better map somewhere. And here you can see the Semitic area again. Remember the cold spot went right up here, the Semitic, the I, that's Semitic. It's a cold spot for Denisovan. It's the Eurasians that are related to Denisovans and Neanderthals, and the Semitics, not so much. So that's why why there's a cold spot for Denisovan DNA in the Middle East and up through all the way up here, and here too, as a matter of fact. So this is Meshech. Remember, Meshech went north through the Black Sea. Meshech went all the way north. That's Meshech. And it's, completely separate from everybody else, basically. But of course, there's a huge diversity, but it's still the same Y chromosome through here. It's Meshech. It's the same Y chromosome, but not the same as O. Different line from O. So Meshech and Magog. And this one shows the lack of diversity again here in Africa. I got to stress that because they want to say that the number of mutations is diversity, or diversity equals the number of mutations and or genetic distance. See this genetic distance here? Of course, genetic distance doesn't mean it's older because they're all the same age, but that's the genetic distance. They're counting the mutations, the number of mutations, and they're saying the age relates to the number of mutations, but it's not true. It's just the genetic distance. And they're saying people with the most genetic distance have the most variation. That's their reasoning for saying that this population here in Africa are more diverse, but not in the way of haplogroups, not in the way of paternal or maternal haplogroups. But that's what they keep trying to say. It's the more diverse population because there's more genetic distance, more mutations. But anyways, this is probably C. Yep, C. CY chromosome of Nimrod, all the way to America, all the way down to South America, which they didn't realize back then when they made the map. This is the Q. Remember Madai settling in Europe? So this was the area of Madai in Europe, right? And he split off, went this way when the marauders came through, which would be the R1A, whoever came find, Attila the Hun, whoever, I mean, the whoever it was. Anyway, so yeah, but look at the percentage here. It's only 4% of the population. So it's not a huge signature, but Madai was in Europe, was in this area. And so you should expect to see people there today. Of course, this is the Assyrian population. Remember, the older European population is G, because the Assyrians went into Europe. So the older population is G and C, which would be descendants of Nimrod, the king of the land of Shinar, went into Europe, I guess this way, or this way. And that's why they say the older Europeans, the original Europeans, they say, were darker because of the CY chromosome and the GY chromosome, which are the descendants of Asher and Nimrod. That's why they say they're darker. They were darker because they're descendants of Nimrod. Okay. Again, Dr. Jeanson is contradicting this. Descendants of Shem are in blue. This is what Dr. Jeanson is contradicting. Descendants of Shem are in blue. So he takes Joktan, the descendants of Joktan, which are many descendants, to get all the lines of the Semitic lines, which he says, but they're actually Japhethites. The descendants of Japheth are like Javan. Of course, we know, we already know they all went north. We already know the nations, the descendants of Japheth went north. The Bible says they did. And that's another thing I don't understand, why the claim. So they were called the nations, and they went north. There's Javan, Tiraz, which is not shown, Gomer, Togarma, Ashkenaz, the Scythians. But wow, these are funny looking. Anyways, it's not even. But anyway, the Scythians, it's the R1A, Ashkenaz. And Madai is the Medes, BQ. The Medes went to Europe, and they went to America. And of course, the descendants of Ham are the green. So that's what Dr. Jeanson is switching. He's switching the descendants of Shem with the descendants of Japheth. He says all the descendants of Japheth, all these are Semitic. And conversely, he would have to say that all the descendants of Shem are Japhethites. So Asher, Elam, Aram, Lud, they're all Semitic. Arpachshad, they're Semitic. Joktan, well, he's using the sons of Joktan to get the 7 lines into the Semitic line to make it fit. He has to go. He can't get it from the 5 sons of Shem. He can't get the 7 lines from 5 sons of Shem. So he goes all the way to Joktan and splits Peleg and Joktan and the descendants of Joktan to get all those lines that are Japhetic, that he says are Japhetic. But anyway, should be self-explanatory. I shouldn't have to say anything, but of course, Nimrod was king of the land of Shinar. Nimrod's Tower of Babel. They spent 100 years trying to build the Tower of Babel before it broke up, before the continents broke up. He was the king of the land of Shinar in this area here. Then the earth was divided and everybody scattered into their family groups. Since Nimrod was king of the land of Shinar, he didn't move. He stayed here while his father Cush and all his other brothers went to Africa after the breakup of the continents. And then, of course, everybody separated into their family groups. That's why you have all this nation, the table of nations. Because otherwise, you wouldn't know who was who. It would be all a mixture. Okay. Now, this is somebody else claiming to be Cush and Joktan. And Cush is a descendant of Ham, but they're saying Cush is the descendant of Ham. See, so everybody, depending on who you are, they say everybody's claiming to be the Semitic line, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, you get the idea. All these here, the Canaanites, Ammonites, Hittites, these are all one family tree. The Philistines they're a mixture of Mitzrayim descendants. Asher is Assyria. Aram is the Arameans or Assyria. The Scythians, the Scythians are the R1A. They're above the Black Sea, where the Scythians, area of the Scythians. The Madai, of course, is in this area here. Elam's this area. Aram, Assyria, Lydia, Lud. And Arpachshad, of course, Abraham left the land of Ur, the Ur of the Chaldees. He left Ur of the Chaldees. He went to Canaan. So, and the W, mtDNA W, which would be, I'm thinking this is the Semitic line. I'm thinking this is the Semitic, or the Asiatic Semitic line. W. No, it might just be Semitic. Anyway. Okay, here's the one in the Philippines. Maybe you can see it better here. The gray and the blues are B. So all the, well, I don't know about this gray, but all the blue shades, these blue shades are B, which is quite a lot, apparently. And then there's the A. Where's the A? A's not here. Oh, the A's in America. I forgot. But then there's so there's a B, the P, which is this one here, and the F. So the F is red. These red colors are the F. Those are the, and there's probably some more too, but maybe not as much. Well, there's the N. The N, of course, this is mitochondria. The N would be the Middle Eastern Semitic line. So that would be from the Middle East. The N, the P, the F, and the B on the scale here. The M is Asiatic, and the E is Asiatic. Remember the C, the D, the E. Yeah, I think the E is Asiatic. Yeah, mitochondrial DNA. Descendants of Japheth, the wife of Japheth, would be E, M. I'm not sure about why. Anyway, something like that. Gotta find out. Now this is a line which would be the original Phoenicians, the descendants of Put, but it's a bigger family tree than EM81. It's like M19 or something 19. It's a big family tree, which includes all North Africa, would be all the descendants of Put, which are the descendants of Ham. Okay, this is the I group. This is both the Danites from Sardinia to the Danube to Denmark, and the other I's, which is the I-1s, which are, I guess, were supposedly there first, which includes myself, which is over in England, where I came from. So I don't know. Maybe I did come from Dan. I don't know. But I thought that there was more Israelites in Europe than just Dan. That's the only thing. And it is a separate line. So I-1 and I-2 are separate lines. And I was pretty sure that the Israelites went up through here as well. But anyways, but a lot of them are J2, I think. J2, J1 and J2 as well. That's why they're all through here. Okay. Okay. So don't strain the gnat and swallow the camel. Okay. So again, just to emphasize, Dr. Jeanson is saying the people in this area here are Japhethite in this area. Forget the names, don't look at the names, but people in this area are Japhethite, and the people in this area up here north are the Semitic populations, which the Bible says Japheth went north. So there's something wrong with that. This is wrong. Lud is not Japheth. See, Lud is Semitic. See, there's a mistake here. You got Lud. Lud is a descendant of Shem. Put is Ham. Uzel. Who's Uzel? Oh, Uz and O. Uz and Hul. What? Who's Uzel? Anyway, descendants of Shem. But that's the color code. The red is Japheth. Went north, which includes Meshech, Magog, Gomer, Tubal, Madai, and of course Magog, Meshech, Tiraz, Javan, all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 Tubal. And of course, these are the sons of Javan here. Kittim, the sons of Javan. Canaan has his own family tree outside of Africa, which is an E. Mitzrayim has his family tree inside of Africa, which is an E, which is all through this area here, Nile River, and across the way too. Put has his own family tree all over North Africa. So it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't see how you can try to get the lines from Joktan and Peleg to get enough lines to make it fit this the Y chromosome of Japheth. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. And he wrote a book. He just came out with a book. Came out with a book. Published it. Told Ken Ham that he's Semitic. Said he's Semitic. I don't know. So, let me see. I guess it's good enough for now. I guess I destroyed this live stream here pretty much. So, what do you guys think? You guys you like this story or what? Okay, let's see what people got to say. Why do the heathen rage? Everyone has faith in something. We believers are not ashamed to profess the faith in Christ. George. Brother Timothy. Oops. Comment SFT with Matt. Where am I doing it? Let me see. We got to undo the live stream. Oh, let me see. Let me just go ahead. George was spot on destroying the expert's argument. Cheryl. Yes, he didn't address what George said or list of evolutionary experts. Okay, just saw it. Shalom, reprove, reprove, and exhort. Brother Timothy. Okay. Okay. Did Jesus come from the line of Japheth? Okay. Dr. Jeanson says, well, no. This is a big mess. This is real confusing because Japheth is the Eurasian Japhethites. I mean, Japheth is the no, Jesus came from the line of Arphaxad. And Arphaxad had descendants down to Peleg and Eber, and then Terah and Abraham. And then the descendants of Abraham are the Jews in Judah, and Jesus is of the tribe of Judah, the son of David of Judah. So that's how it works. But he says somehow it's all up in Asia and Eastern Europe and Northern Asia, and he says those are all Jews, which is kind of strange, but I don't know. He just wrote a book on it, told Ken Ham that he's Jewish because he's an R1A or R1B or something, which what most Europeans are. I mean, a lot of Europeans are, not most. About a quarter, or like maybe I or something. Honesty Angel. Okay. I saw your comments get posted on AIG today. They even read it off later in the show. They read when I said I'm going to buy the book because I wanted to match it up and get everything right. But he's got the whole line of Japheth and the whole line of Ham switched. That's amazing. Good afternoon, Christian Carpenter, Young Earth Creation. You got the whole thing switched, which is really, it's kind of strange, but, I don't know. Keith, Jerome, Cheryl. Yeah, Jesus came from the line of Arphaxad. Shem had 5 sons: Aram, Lud, Asher, Elam, and Arphaxad or Arpachshad. And from Arphaxad came Eber of the Hebrews, and Peleg and Eber, and Terah and Abraham. From Abraham came Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob is Israel. Judah is one of the 12 tribes of Israel. David was from the tribe of Judah. Jesus is a descendant of David, so he would have the Judaic Y chromosome, which is probably the one that I showed is probably Davidic because it's a very large population of David and King Solomon. Okay. Well, we'll get it worked out, I think. We'll get it straightened out. No fussing, no fighting. We'll get it straightened out. No big deal. See, he didn't address what George said or list evolutionary experts, Jerome. I just saw your comments. That Joker is a typical skeptic who wants nothing more to live and doubt stupid questions. He's trying to talk down the brother. George Bond. FST Community Post. Oh, okay. That's what okay. Yeah. So, yeah, it shouldn't be too much trouble. We should get it worked out, hopefully. Yeah, God bless everybody. And I guess that's enough for this stream. Dr. Jeanson just came out with a book called Traced. And I believe he switched the descendants of Japheth with the descendants of Shem. And somehow Joktan I gotta check it out, but Joktan, he got all the lines of Japheth fitting under Joktan. I don't know. It's a mess. Well, God bless everybody. Have lots of fun. Let me see what I got here. Did I remove this? What happened? Oh, okay, there we go. All right, God bless everybody. Take care. And don't fight. No fighting, no arguing, no mistreating of anybody. We'll figure it out. God bless everybody.